Hare Krishna devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So today what chapter are we continuing?
Devotional service, chapter 12.
Yes, chapter 12. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Mataji. So today we are going to continue the journey and we will come to the end of the second module. Right? So let's see, this is the second half, that is the chapter 7 to 12 is the most confidential knowledge, Bhakti. So it's like a sandwich, right? So the first 6 is karma. So how do we achieve Krishna through karma? So that's first 6. And the middle 6 directly talks about Bhakti. And the last 6 talks about jnana, right? How do we achieve Krishna through jnana? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So before we start off, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimrantasya Anjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Jasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivachadika Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Come on, all of you.
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare
Rama Rama Rama
Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So while we start, yesterday we spoke about the glories of Panchatattvas and the Panchatattva mantra, which acts as a protector for us, right? Let's pay our obeisances to Shishi Radha Govinda. And we also saw the 11th chapter, right? And the connection between the 11th and the 12th. Where 11th chapter he shows the two-handed form. I mean, he shows the Vishwarupa, but Arjuna wants the form to be the two-handed form. So Vishwarupa, though it is called Divya Drishti, our great acharyas are telling that the actual Drishti is a little downgraded one. The reason is the two-handed form, which is a personal form, is the highest. And therefore, the form which he saw as Virat Rupa is not great because it is materialistic, right? Actually, I should be asking you all. I'll ask you through the class. So that is where it connects to the 12th chapter. And 12th chapter, now he gets another doubt was, what is greater? Or impersonalism. Yesterday you saw my visuals, right? It had the light. But today you see the Sham Sundar Murti, right? So nice, so beautiful, right? So you keep staring at it at all the times. That was a question by Arjuna. As usual, the chapter opens with that. While Krishna is answering, he also tells that, you don't have to worry. I know this is the process, but then you have a plan A, you have a plan B, you have a plan C, and he goes on with 6 plans, right? So if you can't do this, if you can't do this, if you can't do this. So he says it's like Bhakti simplified. So the 12th chapter talks in terms of a summary of the various chapters starting from the beginning as to how you can simplify the Bhakti. And finally, the last 7, 8 verses talks about how you can actually, Endear can come closer to Krishna, right? So Arjuna, as usual, opens with the question as to what is more important. Is it this light or is it the personal form? So now you all tell me which is great, light or the personal form?
Personal form.
Personal form.
So Vishwarupa or Virat Rupa is close to what?
Brahman.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's the Brahman feature, right? So Bhakti is not new. We are talking about it in 12th chapter, but it's been spoken in every single chapter, starting from the 2nd chapter, 6th chapter, 47 verse, right? That 6th chapter, that is Papa Punya Kritak Logan, Suchitan, Swashmatam, Samaha, Suchiman, Srimatan, Dege, Logo, Bristo, Abhijayate. So even if you do a little bit, you don't have to worry, right? And it's not just 6th chapter, it has more. In the 5th chapter, also, he told, right? Bhuktaram Yatna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Sukridam Sarva Bhutanam Natva Shantam Rachati. So if you think of Krishna, he is the only best well-wisher and a friend for you. So it starts off at every chapter, right? So it's just not, over there. And chapter series itself starts with that, right? So everything Krishna says is that Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Dushkritam Dharma Samsthan Nartaya Sambhavan Yuge Yuge. So every yuga after yuga, I come to destroy the bad, and not only that, also to take care of the good, right? And the 7th chapter talks about Krishna, everything is part and parcel of Krishna, right? So he very clearly highlights, couple of things. What does he say? He says all the material things, right? Bhumi aponalo vayu kammano buddhir evacha ahankaram iti man vinna prakriti ishtadas. The material world, the external energy, cannot survive without me. So these are the 5 gross elements, and the 3 subtle elements are my own manifestation. So he says that, and based on that, he says 4 kinds of people who evolve too. And the 8th chapter, right, he says, finally, you all the time you should be thinking of me. And he says, what you think, what you're thinking at the time of death will be your final destination. And therefore, right, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anushmaran yudhyacha mayarpita manobuddhir mame vaishyasya asamshayah. So therefore, every moment think of me, right? So don't just forget me, you keep thinking of me every single moment. So 9th chapter is called the Bhakti Yoga. It's the most confidential knowledge. Why? It's the most confidential. That means every verse in 9th chapter addresses Bhakti. So, and we also know that 9th chapter is very personal. Till now it's general, and 9th chapter is like a personal letter Krishna writes to each one of us. And also he proposes by, in the 10th chapter, talking about the various opulences. We also did a quick workshop as to how, what are all the opulence which you saw in the material world which made you think of Krishna. And Mohandas Prabhu has to tell today, because that's pending from him. And 11th chapter talks about Virat Rupa. We had the visuals, right? How we saw Virat Rupa. And 11th chapter had 55 verses. So very clearly he says that, how you can reach the destination. There's an end, right? So after that, the 12th chapter directly connects us as to, with the question, which we saw as to how this is pervade. So only way to have association of the Supreme Person is service, right? So very, very clearly. So the 2nd chapter, so I mean 2nd verse goes on as devotional service is most conscious, right? So Krishna explains, what is the difference between the unmanifested Brahma Jyoti, though it is own, but Isho very clearly says, right? Devotees say, Viranmeyena patrena satyasya pilitam mugam tatvam pushana pavranyam satya dharmaya drishtaye. Very clearly, let's take this out, is what he says. Finally, he also says that both are me, but then the personal feature is what you have to worship. So there is absolutely no confusion. But the 2 people, Jnana Yogis, who pray Bhakti, who pray the Brahma Jyoti, but Bhakti Yogis always pray me, right? So the process and comparison we saw. So you all tell me, what is the comparison between the impersonalists who pray Brahma Jyoti and us and the Bhakti Yogis? Can you hear me?
Impersonalists worship only the light or God without form.
Yes, that's right. Impersonalists worship only the light, the Brahma form.
We can serve the Lord. So
thank you so much. That was very nice. Yes, we can serve the Lord. That's one more point, right? So we can
Archa Vigraha.
Thank you so much. Archa Vigraha made out of 8 potential stuff, right? It's metal, painting, stone, clay, jewelry, and more than metal. I did say that. And also it is one special thing is it can be mind also. How means when you're going to a place and you do not have access, or if you're very poor, you don't have any access to any god, then you can pray God in your mind. So that also is Acha Vigraha, right? Hare Krishna. And some more points. What is the difference?
We have to control the senses in the impersonalist point of worship. But here you can worship the Lord through all your senses.
Hare Krishna.
Use your senses.
Yes, Sunita Mataji, it's like neti. No, not this. No, this is that monkey concept, right? I will not see bad. I will not hear. I will not talk, right? That's very difficult. But here we say, yes, I will see, but I will see Krishna. Yes, I will hear, but I will hear Krishna Katha. Yes, I will talk, and I will talk about Krishna. That is so much easier, right? Yes, yes, Supreme Mataji.
We'll get moksha, liberation we can get as a bhakti. We can go to Krishna Loka, but people in by impersonal form will reach the effulgence of the...
Very nice. Thank you so much, Supreme Mataji. Yes, so you will reach, the Jnanis will reach the Brahma Jyoti, right? And it's very difficult. It'll take many years to go there for after realizing the person. Whereas for Bhakti Yogis, we will directly go to Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
In Jnana Yogi, it's very difficult. I mean, we have to go through our pain in the body, a lot of pains in the body. I mean, the process is very hard. But Bhakti Yogi is it's about devotion. People can actually just devote themselves to God.
Very nice, very nice. So there you have to purify. You have to go through everything. Only then you get qualified. But here, doesn't matter. There is no restrictions. It's so simple process. You can do it alongside of what we are doing. Just like how all of us are going to go back to work today at 8:39, but then 1 hour, 1.5 hours we are sitting, right? In our own rooms, we are probably using our own office laptops or personal laptops in our own comfort zone. Fan is on, for some AC is on, but still, we are just listening to Krishna Katha, right? Whereas for them, they have to go isolated and, they have to be all alone. They have to give up everyone and they have to purify. Only then they can. For us, the process itself is purifying. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. I'm so proud of each one of you all, I think.
And another Mataji, if impersonalist, if we go also, again, we have to come back to like fallen souls again.
Exactly. So,
yeah. And one more thing, Mataji.
Yes.
We understand Brahman through Upanishads and Lord Krishna through devotional service, like chanting Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Mantra.
So devotional service, chanting of the holy name automatically gives us bhakti, right? So it's like a direct default bhakti. So it's a transformation of material words through spiritual. Hare Krishna. Very Hari Bol. Right. So this we saw, and also we saw about for the one who worships me, obviously, he will reach me. Now 12.8 to 12, right, is very important. And we are seeing 8, 9, 10, and 11. So living with Krishna by continuously fixing one's mind and intelligence upon him is very important. That is what Ananya Bhakti, right? So Ananya Bhakti is highlighted here, where you will all the time, right? We already saw this, right? Maam Anushmaran Yutyacha. My Arpita Mano Buddhir, right? In the mind and intelligence. But that is very difficult, mind and intelligence, where Krishna, I can't do, right? So this is a direct process, the first one. Second one is also a direct process. The only thing is you can't put your mind and intelligence in it. Therefore, you go into sadhana bhakti, right? You will just get into practicing. Okay, I will do my 64 regulatory principles, respect and nectar of devotion, or at least I will start with the 4 regulatory principles. What happens? This automatically will move you to the previous stage. So it's an automatic elevation. So it is like this. First one is like lift. Second one is also like a lift. But it's like your olden lift, slowly, but still you will reach. The going to the top floor is guaranteed. Whether you go by a high-speed lift or a slightly slow-speed lift, doesn't matter, but you are sure to reach, right? Now the third one is, Krishna, that's also very difficult because, so many sadhanas you're talking, this is too hard. So he says, okay, no problem, surrender your work, right? Whatever you're doing, work for me, right? Sell books, or preach, you do for me. Right. So this is the third one, which is Naish Kama Karma Yoga. Naish means no attachment, right? Without attachment, without lust, right? Without any of that, you for me. Now, this is also a direct method. It will come, first two are direct. This one is also direct. And even this will eventually lead to the path, right? It will automatically take you. So these are the 6 process, of which the first 3 is direct method, and you will reach assuredly, in the sense you're super assured that you will definitely reach. Now 11, surrender the results. Okay, there is a higher possibility of reaching, because once you do Sakama Karma Yoga, like do little bit, right? You do pious activity, you sacrifice little for Krishna, or the results 1%, you are running a business, give small thing, because at least that creates interest, and then you will, even if you miss this time, you will go to heavenly planets because of the pious activity. So he says, yes, that also we'll reach. And we saw the examples of Ananya Bhakti, like, all the Gopas, right? Constantly they think, even Arjuna, I keep telling this, why Arjuna did not chant. Arjuna is an Ananya Bhakti stage. You also can stop chanting if you are an Ananya Bhakti stage. We are not there, right? So we have to chant. The next stage is Sadhana Bhakti, right? So why the Sadhana Bhakti, it's also called. That means you follow the vidhis or vidhis which are mentioned in the book, and you have a formal process, and you do that. That is called the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and you follow that so that you will get elevated to the 12.8 of Ananya Bhakti. That is, if one can perform devotional service, then follow the regulatory principles. Those who have not developed attachment for Krishna, they will automatically get by practice. And we have always said, in anything, practice makes you perfect, right? For that, you have to take the guidance of a guru. There is no qualification in terms of practice except bhakti, right? Unalloyed devotional service, right? Laulyam, that is greed, is the only qualification. Greed, guarantee of success, there is absolute surety, which we saw. Krishna, that is also very difficult for me. Don't worry. I have a plan C called the Neshkama Karma Yoga, where you start working for me, right? So 8, 9, 10 connects the third one to the work for Krishna. How to perform that basically is what is explained in 11.55, right? So what did we do? Mat karma krit, mat paramo, mat. So what is it? Mat karma krit, you will only focus, right, on working, right? You just work for me. Mat kar on, work for me, right? Paramo, that's the most supreme thing, right? So therefore that is more elevated. So automatically you'll reach me. So that's the connection actually. So he's talking about how you can work and progress, and therefore everything will be required, right? A lot of activities are for building a temple, all of them. So that's another work. And if that's also not possible, so these 3 sure shot. The next one is Sadhana Bhakti. If you're not able to work in that conscience also, whatever you're doing, right, do pious activities, like how they've given an example of Nand Maharaj, elevated, but doing charity, you should never stop. You will see 16th, 17th, 18th chapters. So charity, in fact, 17 and 18 will clearly tell charity and austerity should never be stopped at any stage. So the fourth one is that if you try to give up all the results of the work and self-situated, right? That is, if you can't give up everything, then at least give up the results of your work. If you can't work for Krishna, give up the results, and therefore sacrifice that accumulates results to some good cause is important. So how does it help? It elevates to the state of knowledge, right? So we're going to see more of that, right? So it gives us a knowledge. We will understand your heart purification starts and goes on. Like what? Taking care of the hospital, social, national service, all these are also totally fine, because these things are they are taking you to the next level. Now I have a question. Some person who's absolutely into all the dana dharma but does not believe in Krishna, right? And someone who does dana dharma, whatever, they are at equal, he believes in Krishna. What is the difference? He's very good. Many times we have this doubt, right? He's an atheist, but still he's very good. So what is the difference?
Charity is not the right place.
No, true, but let's assume that he also does charity in the right place. He goes and searches for really poor people. Everything is equal, right? All factors remaining constant between both, except for one factor, which is Krishna is there in the center. For the other person, Krishna is not there. Otherwise, both of them are very, very pure. Exact ditto.
Yeah.
A, mirror.
He is proud
Yeah.
that
This
pride.
the first
Oh,
person will
that's
go
very
to,
nice. He may have pride because he is doing it. Perfect. That is one point.
the first person to reach the heavenly planet. The person who believes in Krishna would reach
That's
Golok.
true. Yes, so he will go to heaven, but the person who believes goes to direct Goloka. Fine. Second, but what is in the material world, what is the difference? So I see 2 of them, right? So I'm like, for example, I'm just taking names here. right? So let's assume Mohandas Prabhu is here, he does all charity, everything. But he does everything, and sorry Mohandas Prabhu, I'm just pulling your name, without Krishna in the center. And we have Kartika Mataji who is doing everything, but they both are very good. Okay, and he's very down to earth. Everything is mirror, right? And they are not even thinking of where I'll go. Destination is not being thought over by them in the material world. So what is the difference?
Surrender. Bhakti.
Mataji, the devotee is more dear to Krishna.
Yeah, that's also nice. Thank you so much. Yes, Neetu. Devotee is very dear. So therefore, Krishna personally takes care of the devotee. So Krishna is holding and pulling the devotee up. True. It's like the king, right? If any praja falls down, what will happen? The king will tell his ministers, come on, jump, save him. Because the king is the representative of God. But if his own son falls, will he tell, hey, ministers jump, or will he jump?
He will jump.
He will jump, right? So that's the personal thing. True, that is there. So he's under the protection. But what differentiates these two people is there is a chance for the person where there is no Krishna conscious to change. And you'll ask, how Mataji you're telling? How can you talk like this? He's such a good person. Yes, the good which is defined comes from the material world for him, right? It is material because his good is experienced by him through the material world and through the cause effect. I am good by I am birth. I'm good because of my environment, which has brought me good. I am good because I would have done good karma in the previous life. I am good because my friends are good. My relatives are bad, but still I am good because I want to maintain. But the good, any fragment or fraction of a time can become bad because he does not have a core motive to be good. He is just good. Also because of the fact it is material, right? Material in the sense the good is coming from the mind and intelligence. We saw, right? First time we are telling, give the mind and intelligence to Krishna. Yes, it can lead to ahankar, but we also see a lot of good people who do not believe in God do not have ahankar. So he may not have ahankar, but it is still from his mind. I want to be good as a principle. But if someone keeps Krishna in the center, the good comes from the soul, right? So from the soul is a dominating feature. So when the soul gives the good, what happens is the joy is more. So when you enjoy more and when you know Krishna is in the center, therefore the consistency is there. So anything bad happens, like Prabhupada once had a cut in his finger. And everyone started telling, oh, Prabhupada, cut your finger, how bad? How can Krishna do? Because you're so exalted. How can this happen? And Prabhupada just told that, yes, Krishna blessed me. It's Krishna's blessing. Prabhupada, how can you say that? I'm saying this because you should remember one thing, that I was supposed to lose my hand and Krishna blessed me by making me lose just a finger, right? So that is so divine, right? You cannot even imagine someone telling like this. So this shows the kind of devotion he has. And there are some people who are extremely devoted in that fashion where they feel even pain after pain, it's okay to get because I deserve this, right? And very few of us will be in that thought. However, what happens is the soul, right? Here the soul is directly engaged. But I'm so happy all the answers were very, very close, to the thing, and all the answers were perfect. Hare Krishna. So now we are going to talk about what's called indirect ways. One indirect way is giving a result, right? You indirectly start doing, devotion, not devotion, I mean charity and all that, like how we just explained, not at the soul level, which is not Neshkama Karma Yoga, but at Sakama Karma Yoga, which is probably at a bodily level, but still it is okay. We have to chant from here. Am I right? We did till 12.11. Is that right?
Yes, Mataji.
We'll start from here. Whoever wants to read can unmute and start. Hare Krishna. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma pala dhyagas dhyanat chantir anantaram. Hare Krishna. Yes, you all can take turns and read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of the action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very nice. So he says, if you cannot take to practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge, right? So jnana. This is an indirect method, and the last three, as I said, there is no assurance you will reach Krishna. You may reach after many, many births. Krishna says that, right? After many, many births, you will reach Krishna. Hare Krishna. One second. Hare Krishna. So he's telling that if you cannot practice, then you engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. So at least by cultivating knowledge, what happens? Knowledge means you will become intelligent. How will you reach? It is because knowledge will teach you. Knowledge will give you path. It will give you a direction how you can go. Knowledge is understanding Vedas. Veda, what does it say? Very clearly, Vedas, it says, Vedesha Sarvesu Aham Channivishta. So what does it mean? So all Vedas are designed with the motive of meeting me as the end. So even though I am the Vedanta Krit, Vedavit, even though I am the compiler, I am the author, compiler, and I know the Vedas, even though I am the knower of Vedas, but all Vedas eventually have to come to me. So the point is, through jnana, if you become a mental speculator, you will fall down. But if you think Krishna as the center, then obviously you will go. So jnana, at least, cultivate knowledge, right? So it is better, better. So this is one, jnana. Better than developing knowledge is dhyana. You meditate on it, right? The Paramatma feature is what people normally meditate. So better than jnana, you sit and simply keep reading books and become scholar is not enough. But at least, please go ahead and start doing dhyana, right? So if you meditate, then obviously you will at least reach. So 12.12 talks to one is jnana and the second one is dhyana. But these two are indirect methods and they are slow, and the possibility, there is no assurity you will reach Krishna. It will take many, many births. Hopefully, if they direct and get Krishna in the center, you will reach. Now, the last one is, does anyone know the story of this fruit seller and Krishna?
Yes, Mataji.
Is that Arun?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, can you go ahead and tell the story?
Yes, so there was, I don't know the name, the fruit seller who she actually was selling the fruit. So she came to the door of the Krishna's house, and then Krishna looked at it. Krishna wanted, she was so, when she looked at the Krishna, she got, so attractive with Krishna. That she forgot actually that she's a fruit seller and she's come here to sell the fruits, but she has actually given the fruits from her basket to Krishna, and whatever Krishna's can hold. Now Krishna in return, what he went inside the house, and then he got a fist of I'm not sure, rice or grains to give it back to her. Now his hand was so small, and then when he was coming, most of the grains have actually fall down, and then only a bit of the grain was left in his fist. And then Krishna gave whatever was left over to the he put the grains in the basket. And when she goes back to house, and she sees that all those grains have actually converted into the gold, jewelries, etc. Yeah.
Correct, Prabhu, go ahead.
After that, I'm not sure after that, Mataji.
Okay, so after that, so if it was, no, it's perfect, whatever you told. So after that, what happens is, in fact, on her way itself, all this morsels. So it's all, you can see full jewelry in her bag. And see, if it was us, right, what would we do? What would we do if it was us? I'll tell thank you and I will take all the jewelry and keep it in my locker. Any different views?
No, we happily take it in.
Exactly. I will tell, oh, Krishna, thank you so much for such lovely gifts. But she actually comes back and asks Krishna, I don't want these jewels. I don't want gold. I want only your constant devotion. That is the move of a great devotee. In fact, if you remember in the 4th chapter, right, Krishna says that I reciprocate according to whatever you give, right? So I reciprocate to the devotees to the extent they give it to me. Now, this is a promise which Krishna has given, but eventually he managed to do that with everyone, even with the fruit seller, with the devotee, everyone. But he could not even come close, not even close to that with respect to gopis. And of that, the most greatest gopi is Radharani. So, and that, it so happens that he just could not manage at all. So what happens is, the whole story goes into this, right? Hare Krishna. So this is a small story of how Krishna completely surrenders to the devotees, right? So coming back to the 4th chapter, he says that to everyone, he will reward them accordingly. But is he rewarding everyone accordingly? Yes, we see so many stories, right? Everyone he will reward. Whatever they do, he tries and gives more, like multiple times what he do. When it comes to gopis alone, he is not able to come even close to what actually we have to do. So what happened is, gopis, there are so many incidences which he starts observing, right? One incident he notices is with Narada, right? So, Narada comes and asks, why do you feel gopis are very exalted? So that time, he says, okay, I'm calling, you can actually go and do one thing. Just go to various lokas, wherever you can, and tell them I have a headache. Okay. And tell them that the mud, the dust of their foot is what is required for my headache to go. If I keep the dust on my head, no, my headache will go. Narada says, but how can I tell? He says, just go and tell. And he says, okay, I will do. And then he, he's like a little puzzled, but then he follows, right? So he goes and approaches Brahma. He goes to Brahma Loka and he says, Brahma, Krishna is off duty today because he's having headache. So Brahma immediately says, oh my God, Krishna is having headache. Oh my Krishna, what can I do? You tell anything. Will you do everything? Anything? He says, yes, anything I will do. Please tell. He says, Krishna says that, if you can give the dust, the mud from your foot, he'll keep on the head and the headache will go. He'll say, oh my God, how can I do that? Because if I do that, I will go to a complete devastation. I forget about annihilation, devastation, which will go. All the kalpas, everything will go for a trance, and everything will get over. There is no way I can do, because it will take me into the dark, hellish planets. He says, can you check with everyone? He says, nobody will be willing to. Then he goes to Shiva Loka. He goes to Shiva and asks Shiva, you are coming and you're someone who can really liberate. You're so soft by heart, and you can liberate even the fallen souls like ghosts, right? Even them, you want to offer liberation. You want to help them to get liberated. Now, today Vishnu, Krishna is off duty. Can you help? He says, oh, what happened? He says, he has a headache. He says, what? Oh my God. Okay, how can he help? He says, he wants the, the dust from your leg. He says, oh my God, how can you tell? Krishna is my Aradhana. I can't even think of that, right? He says, Krishna is like close to my heart, and how can I even think of something like that? Please don't even ask, right? So he does that, and then he thought, okay, I'll go to the gopis. So he goes to the gopis, and over there he goes to the gopis and he tells them, there is one nice incident which I want to tell you. He says, okay, how is Krishna? He says, no, he's just not feeling well. What happened? He has headache. So gopis are telling, oh my God, what we should do. Immediately he says, what you should do is, if you give the dust from your leg, if he applies on his head, he will his headache will be totally gone. They say, oh, that's all. No, 1 second, wait. And everybody runs and collect the dust from their legs, and they put it and they give. Narada says, 1 second, I will take it. But do you know what? What? By doing this, the significance. I think you all don't have so much jnana. I will explain to you. By doing that, you will go to the dark, hellish planets. There is this Shastra which says that, if you really abuse the God, or, you do like this, you will never be able to return. In the deep, dark hell, we will go. Gopis laughed. They said, yeah, we know. Telling, oh my God, how you're telling, oh, Narayana, you are telling, and you're doing the same mistake. They say, forget it. No, you go and give, because you're telling, you only don't know, sure, na? Krishna's headache will go. Are you sure? He says, yes. In spite of that, you're willing to give, you're willing to sacrifice this. They say, yes, we are, it doesn't matter now. If we go to hell, how does it matter? We have to go to hell, na? We will go. You don't even worry about it. You first go, now forget about us. Narada was shocked, right? He couldn't control his tears. He couldn't tell them that the whole thing is untrue. At the same time, he couldn't resist his mouth. You know about Narada, right? So he's like, his lips are always tempted to create something or the other, which leads to confusion. So immediately Krishna calls him back. Oh my God, with gopis, you don't go and tell that the whole thing is a drama, because after that, who will take care of the consequences, right? Everybody will come and pick a fight with me, and Radharani will also fight. You better come off, Narada. And he pulls him back. And Narada says, oh my God, I didn't know, because everybody will have, how much ever love, will have a small motive of something for them. And these gopis are so dedicated, not only to Krishna, some of them don't even think of anything else other than Krishna and Radharani. Some of them see that they get united, that gives Krishna the happiness. And what gives Krishna the happiness makes us happy. So they are just devoted to Radharani because they feel that if Radharani is happy, she will make Krishna happy and they will be eventually together. So that level of craze they have. So that is why devotees, gopis are extremely smart. And why this is asked is Krishna in his forehead, right? He is having, so we start with us. So the tilak, right, which we are wearing is what the pada, right? The footprint of us, right? In the sense of Krishna's leg is what we are keeping it here, and down what we put is Tulsima. Now Krishna is also having a similar thing in his head. Whose leg is he having it on his head? Hare Krishna, can anyone guess, tell, or you can type in chat? Krishna is also wearing tilak, right? The down is Tulsima, fine. But then what does the two legs represent? Krishna is having the leg of his devotees. So all the gopis, all the exalted devotees, like Krishna is also putting. That is the difference. That's why he says, whatever they do, I reward them accordingly. So that is the beauty of Krishna. Whatever they do, he rewards. But he had only one challenge. He said that I've given a promise. No matter what, I have to keep up my promise. But I'm falling short of my promise. Narada is asking, what? Where are you falling short? He says, yes, I am falling short. He's addressing everyone. I'm falling. Can you see these gopis? They are so exalted. And how can I reciprocate? I am not even able to reciprocate 1 millionth time of what they are doing. I promise them I will do at least multiple times of them. I can't even do a small percentage. And the way they enjoy doing it, I can't even understand how they can enjoy. And that thought of Krishna leads him to take the exalted form of Lord Chaitanya. No doubt Lord Chaitanya came for us, for the fallen souls. And that is why, he comes and brings that Ma mantra from, not here, but from Goloka Vrindavan. And that's why he's called Patita Pavana. Patita Pavana means completely fallen souls also he will manage, right? But that's the external motive. But the internal motive is he wants to know what is the joy these devotees are getting by serving me, right? What is the joy? And therefore, let me go there and see and experience the joy. And the exalted devotee of Krishna is Radharani. So I will take her bhava, right? I am Krishna only, I am descending as Chaitanya, but I will take the mood of Radharani to enjoy what I am not able to experience, right? I am seeing her so much in love with me, but she seems to enjoy serving me more, falling in love with me more. Let me get that bhava. So this is how this connects back to Chaitanya, Charitamrita, and how Chaitanya came here 500 years back, right? Hare Krishna. So back to our presentation. Hare Krishna. So now this, why I told you all is you all will be having this doubt. Okay, what is great vibe? So this is the difference of an exalted Anyapapa, right? So that is where we will be telling we have undivided attention, unalloyed love, 100% trust. And I was thinking this morning, don't I have 100% trust? Then I was thinking maybe, if a situation comes as what we'll tell that, no, we don't, right? We thinking we have, but if we are put in a test, then, we will know that our percentage is probably not even pass mark. So two kinds of devotional service, we saw that following regulatory, right? We saw like from the beginning, we'll see mind fixed on Krishna, follow regulatory principles, work for Krishna, give up the results. And if you cannot engage yourself in the work of Krishna, at least cultivate knowledge, right? Brahma Jnana, right? And the result of the knowledge, one understands the real position, right? It gives you Jnana because it gives you Jnana Chakshushu. It opens the eyes and gives light and removes the ignorance and darkness. Knowledge will develop to meditation, right? So from knowledge, you will get into meditation. From meditation, you will go to Krishna. It's a gradual process, but there is a process. There is no 100% assurity, but it's a slow process where after millions of years, the tendency will come. So what happens? Renouncing the fruits is better than meditation, which you already told, right? So that is renouncing the fruits is better and is mentioned is better than meditation. Why? Because through karma yoga, even though it is considered lowest, Krishna says it is better than meditation because it is more practical, right? He says that, right? Ekam vada, tell me one thing what I should do. He says, no, work in Krishna conscience is easier because you will have more focus. And you all explained to me this so much. And the mind will not get disturbed because if you go to the village or forest, isolate and think of women, normally that's what happens. They think of the opposite gender, wine, or anything attractive. right? And mind gets disturbed. And what happens is you become a mrityachara, which means pretender, right? That's what he says, right? 3rd chapter. And therefore, it is important that it's very impractical. For whom? For Arjuna, he says it's impractical, right? When Krishna talks about Ashtanga Yoga process, Arjuna says, I can control even the wind, but not the mind. And we are all confident that Arjuna is better than us. Anyone has a doubt, anyone feels in this class, and I'm asking this again, that Arjuna is Gudakesha, which, he is Sabya Sachi, which means he can fight with both hands. He can fight in darkness. He can shoot arrows in the night with both hands. Anyone in the room feels that they are better than Arjuna? If you're silent, I will take that you all are.
No,
Mataji. No, Mataji.
They're clear,
no.
right? So if Arjuna, who is a living example, right? So that is what Krishna says in the 3rd chapter. Yadyat acharati sheshas tattat evetanojuna. Sayat pramanam kurte lokastat anuvartate. If you can't, great leaders will set examples. So great leader like Arjuna is telling, I will not try. I will not even put the foot. We had a couple of them here. I think Sham Prabhu and Arun, if I remember right? Wanted to do Ashtanga Yoga. Arun backed off even before I started the chapter, and Sham Prabhu backed off after the first 3 or 4 shlokas of the Ashtanga Yoga. Because even by understanding theoretically the depth of Ashtanga Yoga, it is so scary. And by the last chapter, 29th verse of the 5th chapter itself, all of us back. Even if we had one doubt, we even decided we will skip the chapter, right? So that is the exalted position and the big challenge which an Ashtanga yogi faces. Right? So this is the same thing in a different format. So we can do so. Even though it is the lowest, it is definitely better. So we're coming to the last part, which is the conclusion. Qualities that endear one to Krishna, right? Again, from the highest to lowest, because this is what we need, right? We want to get closer to Krishna. Yes, please go ahead and read this meaning.
Hare Krishna. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional services with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
So this is a shloka. So you'll understand. So it's the first thing. Adveshta. Adveshta means non-envious, right? The shloka goes like this. It's Adveshta. Okay. And these are the important words which come, right? He is completely kind to everyone, whether it's a friend or an enemy. He doesn't differentiate. Considers all reactions as a result of his past karma, right? It's called Tate Anukampa. So whatever has happened is a reaction of what has happened. Takes distress as the Lord's mercy. I deserve so much. I just told you about Prabhupada, and I will tell you about one more person whom I know. Santushta means satisfied. Right? He's just very self-content. He doesn't keep asking. Nirmamo, right? Krishna is the proprietor, right? The first shloka in Isha Upanishad, it says that Isha Bhashamidam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagat Yam Jagat Tena Tiktena Bunjitha Ma Kridaha Kashas Viddanam. Right, very clearly says that he is the supreme Ishvara, Isha Bhasha Midam Sarvam. That means everything belongs to him. He is the supreme controller, right? And we are part and parcel of him. And more than that, what is highlighted, we should only take our quota system, follow the quota, which we don't, right? You see even a bird, cat, dog, they are living in insecurity in an open environment. But have you ever seen a cat or a dog trying to tell, I ate now? Okay, I will carry some rice and keep it in a corner. I will use it after 2 hours when I'm hungry. Have you ever seen a cat doing that?
No.
A bird doing it?
No, Mataji.
Capable. You tell, no, Mataji, but the bird cannot carry, it's got a small beak. How can it carry? Of course it does. It can carry. If it can make a nest, such a big nest with its beak, it can carry rice. It does on a very rare occasion when some birds during winter and they know they don't get food or they have to protect, it's different. But normally, quota system is strictly followed. Devotee does not attach much importance to the pains and troubles, right? We saw this matras pashtastu kaunteya doshisuka dukkadaha agamapayino nityas shamstikas shashvata bharata. Very clearly, right? Sukha dukkha, he doesn't have any worry about this. Dhrida nishchaya, irrespective of whatever happens, right? Continue to do all that right? All the devotion. Dridasha means with firm determination, tolerant, never disturbed, right? Yata Atma, self-control completely, right? Perfect mystic because completely fixed in the instruction of spiritual God. Maya Arpita Manobhutir, we already saw, right? He's put his mind and all that. So thought process of a devotee. So what happens, right? So we will read the shloka in a minute. But the thought process is he thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him, always. How can it be Lord's mercy? He thinks, but my past karmas, I should be suffering far and more. Because of Lord's mercy, I have got a lower one. He thinks this person is acting as an enemy due to my past karma, not because he's bad. He may be bad, but it's my past karma. And what is the result of thinking that way? He thinks he's always calm and quiet. So when someone behaves bad, we keep thinking, why me? I'm so good to him, but why me? Of course, the three modes act on him is one, but the three modes act on him and you counteract with him is because of the karma you have at the end. He's not envious of anyone and he becomes eligible for liberation, right? He becomes totally eligible for liberation. So that's because he's already liberated, right? He's already in that platform. Srimad Bhagavatam, I will chant and one of you can read. Hare Krishna. Tate mukam pam shusami kshamano munjano evatma kritam dipakam hridvag vapurbir vidatam namaste Jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhak. Hare Krishna. Here, this one. My dear Lord.
My dear Lord, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectable obeisance with his heart, words, and body is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Hare Krishna.
Right? So very clearly, he says your respectable obeisance with heart, words, and body. Right? Everything. He is completely paying obeisance. Like how you saw Arjuna also telling, right? We saw when he saw the Vishwarupa, I pray obeisances to you onto your straight, left, right. Like that he is doing because Vishwarupa is all around. But here he says that my entire body is yours. So I'm doing with my mind, heart, body, everything, I surrender to you. So that's a beautiful verse. Before that, I wanted to chat that particular verse also because it's so important. Okay, for others who want to know how to go to Veda base, it's here, Veda base, right? And some of y'all were asking me, how do I go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya? It's the first book in the second row, right? So you can see this. Now I'm going to Bhagavad Gita. This is a soft copy of Bhagavad Gita. 12th chapter.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I think you're sharing the wrong screen.
You can't see the screen? Oh my God. Okay.
We can see the screen, but it was the folder screen, not the browser.
Now,
yeah.
Now can you see?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, thank you so much, Neetu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, so 13th and 14th. So this is what we saw, right, as an explanation. I'll have these two copy pasted, but I will for now go ahead. Hare Krishna. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitre karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukka sukakshami. So we saw, right, the first verse which says Maitre means friend. He's like, for everyone who treats a friend and an enemy equally. Nirmamo does not have any proprietorship. Nirahankar, without any ahankaram, right? False ego. Samadukka, sukha, in happiness or distress, he treats everything equally. Santushta, somebody, Santushta is someone who is absolutely, in a satisfied state, content state, we say, right? Satsatam yogi means always thinking of me. Yatatma dhrida nishaya. So all the time, he is thinking, he is with determination and self-control, right? Yes, yatatma means self-control. Dhrida nishaya means self-determination, right? My arpita manobuddhir, we know, he surrenders his mind, intelligence, everything, right, to him. Yo mad bhakta same priya. Such a bhaktara, such a devotee is very close to my heart, right? So this is what he said. And going back to the library, which I told, this is where Bhagavad Gita is. It's Veda based. And the second line, first teaching of Lord Chaitanya is there. Please go ahead and read that. I just thought I will take a minute in that. No, I think I will not crawl. I will stop screen share and I'll go back to the PPT. Yes, this is the one. Right, so this is what it is. So such a devotee, Krishna itself is telling, is so lovable to me. So this is how you get closer to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we'll chant 12.15. Yasmanod vidyate loko, lokanod vijate chayah, harsha marsha bayodvege, muktoya sachame priyah. Hare Krishna.
He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anxiety, who is steady in happiness and distress, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling one who is not put in any difficulty and who's not disturbed. See, it's not that he is never having difficulty. The devotee also faces. Many times I see some devotees who say, Mataji, what is the point in chanting? I'm chanting now 10 rounds, I'm chanting 6 rounds, I'm chanting 16 rounds, but I still have problem. That means you're not chanting properly. You know why? Because there is a very beautiful saying I came across. Don't go to Krishna and tell, can you see how big my problem is? Go to the problem and tell, hey, do you see how big my Krishna is? Because if we have this attitude of looking at the problem and telling, hey, you know, my Krishna is there, you know, the whole thing changes. The whole perception, the whole way of seeing the world changes. And then the problem becomes very minuscule. But the problem is most of the time we make a mountain out of a mole and keep looking at Krishna and telling, look at my problem so big. Look at the problem, because you are keeping the problem so close to your eye and Krishna so far away. If you do vice versa, then the problem will be very far. Right? So that becomes very important. How many of you all know the story of Chitraketu? Here, Shiva Parvati. So if you know the story, you tell me yes. Otherwise, I'll yes or no. So silent.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Yes,
You all know the
Mataji.
story. Okay. So then I'm not telling this. So basically, this is one classic example where Chitraketu was okay. You told yes, Mataji. So why don't you give a summary of the story to others? Everybody can hear.
Yeah, actually, like Parvati Devi was sitting on Shiva's lap when he was teaching the Harikatha to some group of rishis. Then one Chitraketu laughed at them, like looking at Parvati Devi sitting on Shiva's lap. Then she cursed him. Then Chitraketu was not upset or angry by and he obeys her curse. Because he is a Vishnu devotee, and Vishnu devotees never be angry or upset with the curse.
Yeah, please continue. Sandhya,
Yeah, that's all I know. Yeah, that's all I know, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, it's perfect. So Chitraketu comes and he doesn't make fun, but he just, for a second, gives that expression, that feel, right? In such a big audience, Parvati Mataji is sitting, but nobody else felt bad. So, in that, it's not like insult, but in that expression, right? He came. So immediately Shiva understood. One is because he's a devotee and he also understands that Chitraketu is a devotee. And therefore, he is totally fine because he knew he didn't mean anything wrong. But Parvati Amma got very angry and she cursed him that you're going to become a demon. Right? And he never even, Chitraketu could have asked for a reversal. He never said anything, he thanked. But he told that I would like to take a minute to clarify. And he did clarify. He said, I never meant anything wrong and I never felt anything wrong. But I just thought that, I was shocked and I also thought that maybe others would feel, right? So I never felt anything wrong, but thank you so much. And he took blessings and she felt very sad. She thought that, maybe she, urged herself out of anger and, cursed him in short. But later what happens is the curse becomes a blessing and Krishna liberates the demon, right, through Indra. So the demon has a fight with Indra and it's as if he is losing. And at the time of death, he, in fact, the Vajra took 1 year to destroy the demon, right? And when he was dying, that is when Indra understood that he was a hardcore devotee in the form of a demon. Do you all know the name of this demon? Does anyone know the name of this demon? It's a Srimad Bhagavatam story. So try and see if you can find the name of this demon next week. So some homework for you all. Right. So 15th chapter, never causes distress to others, not get affected by others, right? So he is never affected because devotee is always in Krishna conscious, just like him. Chitraketu, nothing bothered because he knows Krishna is there. Whatever it is, he's going to take care, right? Material circumstances do not disturb him. Such a state is very exalted. Does not, no one is put in anxiety, difficulty, fear, or dissatisfaction, right? So that is the thing. And back now to 12.16. So we'll see what the qualities. Hare Krishna. Anapeksha shuchir daksha. Dashino gatavai vyataha sarvaramba parityaji yomad bhaktaha same priyaha. Hare Krishna.
A devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary cause of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and who does not strive for some result is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is the picture. Can anyone tell what picture this is? Of whom? I'll give you a clue. Krishna's best friend, childhood friend.
Oh, Uddhava.
No. Uddhava is never poor. He's very rich. Uddhava,
Sudama.
he dresses like Krishna.
Sudama.
Thank you so much, Sudama.
Sudama.
Uddhava has bodily features like Krishna, and Uddhava also used to take Krishna's dresses and wear. So Uddhava used to look very much like Krishna. So when he went back to Vraja, right, to Vrindavan, after Krishna came to to fight with Thamsa, after many years when he went there, everybody were so attracted because they felt Uddhava was looking so good. And Uddhava first time understood how crazy the gopis were. And he saw Radha Rani was such even worse because she started speaking to a bee. She was telling, hey bee, you know what? Krishna is having so much attitude. I'm not going to talk to him. You have no idea, bee. She was like picking a fight with the bee. And by the way, bee, did you see Krishna somewhere? Do you know who that person is? Do you know how he is? She has gone into that kind of an extreme mode. And when Uddhava saw that, he understood how exalted Radharani is. Uddhava is also a cousin of Krishna. So naturally, Uddhava had all opulences, resemblance of Krishna, and he also was rich because they were all children of the king. Were technically prince. So therefore, prince and small kings of various lands. So therefore, he was very posh. This one is Sudama, and therefore talks about him. He says that he's just not bothered, right? He's all the basic things he's not bothered. He doesn't care about any of the pain, right? Such a person is very devoted. And many times people ask this doubt, if that is so, then why Sudama is going through pain in the first place? Because there was a story when they both learned, I think it was about 60 to 65 days, they learned in Ujjal, right? Under Sandeep, name of the Muni, who is the teacher of Krishna. 3 of them met. One is Krishna, another one is Balram, another one is Sudama. So can someone tell me the name of Krishna's teacher?
Sandipani Muni.
Sandipani.
Thank you so much. Yes, Sandipani Muni. Can you please fill attendance? Mohandas Prabhu is really worried. I think there are many people like me because I'm very bad in filling attendance, right? And I keep getting messages privately from my admin telling, can you please fill the attendance? So I can see how painful this job is. And please go ahead and fill attendance. Only 8 of you have filled. So while I'm telling this story. So what happens is that, that time his guru, Satipani Muni, tells that, you have to carry a log of wood, and he gives to Sudama. He told everyone to do, and they started on the work. And he tells Sudama, hey, Sudama, these are the 2 rice morsels, right? That puffed rice. One for you when you're hungry, and another one you give to Krishna. So Sudama goes ahead and carries both the covers. But what he should have done is, okay, he was very hungry, he ate. First mistake. But it's okay if he ate. It's not a big crime. But first of all, we just saw, right? Isha Vasha principle. You should take only what belongs to you. So he was okay. He was hungry. So when he comes back, Krishna asks him, hey, I'm feeling very hungry. Do you have puffed rice? He could have just told that I ate off, right? You have to be honest and admit, right? We saw Dhruva, right? Dhruva was insulted by stepmom, but his mom never gave him a story. He told that I'm not the lovable wife of your father. I'm sorry, I'm not capable. So it's very important that we actually don't cover our face, and sometimes, not all the time, but at least most of the time, tell our situation verbatim. So what happened is, in Sudama's case, he could have told, but he was feeling bad. He said, yeah, I'm also very hungry. You're hungry. I'm also so hungry. Hunger is not stopping. I'm feeling so hungry. He says, okay, no problem. So that's why Sudama is constantly in hunger, right? So that is why you can fool anyone, but not the Lord. So this is one thing, but obviously his love for him does not come down because of his hunger. This is what happens. So we are going to the 12.17 stage. Yona rishyati na dveshti, sochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, manye same priyaniya. Hare Krishna.
One who neither grasps pleasure or grief, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Very clearly, right? Someone who neither is happy nor he is grieving, extreme habit. He doesn't lament, right? Nor does he desire about anything, right? He's very comfortable. He's not stuck between both. Such a person is very dear. So he's telling such a person is very dear. And we saw this picture. So all of you all know who he is, right? Our little small 5-year hero.
Prahalad.
Right? He's unaffected by material emotions, neither rejoices nor laments, and he's transcendental for everything. Prepare to accept all kinds of risk for God's satisfaction. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of devotional service. Bhakti man, devotee, the most essential quality for which all other qualities appear, from which all qualities appear. This Bhakti man. You are just a devotee, automatically other things will fall. 12.18 and 19. Hare Krishna. Yes, please read.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equiposed in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contamination, always silent and satisfied with anything, who does not care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and engaged in devotional service, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
So very clearly, it says that, equal to friends and enemies. Maybe we will not go for a fight with an enemy, or we will forget an enemy, but definitely, I think I can't treat a friend and an enemy in like words, right? Honor, dishonor, my God. If someone insults us, my God, forget about whether the person is insulting. Even before the person insults us, we will start thinking that they've insulted us and we start reacting, right? Honor, we need honor. Honor is my lifeline. Okay, I will do anything, but my self-esteem is most important. Now, there is an English meaning which differentiates the meaning of false ego, self-esteem. So many thin lines are drawn. But at the end of the day, it is a subdivision of ego, right? And heat and cold, yes, a classic example. If the heat starts up, we switch on the AC, and especially me, right? So much difference we see. So that's why Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, right? Na janam, na danam, na sundari, right? Bhavitam va jagatisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatad bhakti rakaitukhi tvai. Means what? I don't want women. I don't want, we read that yesterday, right? I don't want wealth. And I don't want followers. Why he says that? Because people who don't want these two also needs fame. They need followers, right? And yesterday I told you the story of a guru who got carried away by the name and fame, and she wouldn't want her own, disciples to come up because she didn't. She wanted to stay in the limelight, right? Which was told to them by their guru. So this is what happens. So always silent, and they don't care. And who's fixed in knowledge and engaged in devotional service is very dear to me, very priya. So very clearly, Sama, one second, Hare Krishna. Sama Shatrucha Mitru. Shatru means enemy, Mitru is friend, is equal, right? He treats both equally. Mana Pama, one second. Equiposed to dualities. Manapa Manyo, right? So you treat equally. Sangha Vivarjata, right? Always free from contamination. Aniketaha, does not care for anyone. Mauni, be silent, speak only when it's required. Right? Very difficult. Santushto, that's why Krishna is telling, right, in the 10th chapter, what does he say? He says, of all, I am the silence. secrets, I'm the silence, because silence is the biggest secret. Santushto yena kena chit. Satisfied, happy in all conditions. Shruddhamatir, fixed in determination and knowledge. Bhaktiman is a devotee. Krishna conscious, good qualification. One who wants to recognize devotee should develop, recognized as devotee. We are now thinking we are devotee, but we are trying to be a devotee. So we should develop all these qualities. Of course, one does not he doesn't, okay, there's no specific qualification. Automatically devotional service itself takes you to the level. As I told yesterday, we were talking about glories of Panchatattva and Mahamantra. Mahamantra, though comes from a material mouth, it becomes very transcendental because the Mahamantra is transcendental. The whole thing is the yagna, and Krishna also says that, right? Of all the yagnas, right, Sankirtan, the Naam, right, is the greatest, and that's what I am. One who is not. Krishna, one who is not a devotee has no good qualification. So someone who is not a devotee has absolutely nothing, no qualification as good as this. Right? So qualities, summary of, sorry, can you hear me? Okay. Summary of the qualities, we see that qualities that endeavor, which we will read in length in the 26th chapter, sorry, not 16th chapter, 26 qualities, we'll have divine quality, which can come bigger. We will read that in length, but for now, it's just a quick summary. Qualities that endears Krishna, the qualities which says is Tatastha Lakshanam. That is, these are the secondary, right? What are very essential, absolutely required is Swarupa Lakshanam. Absolute qualities, right? Absolute Swarupa Lakshanam is being a devotee. That's important. The other things are auxiliary to it, right? So something which is like more additional qualities, attitude towards oneself. Right? So this is a good one. We'll take another 5 minutes. Free from sense of proprietorship. We saw that. Free from false ego. We saw nirmamo, nir ahankar, gata vyatah, pain, free from pain, sarva amba parityaga, right? Free from all endeavors, right? Dealing with other living beings, you're non-envious, right? Many times we tell, why me? Why not that person? Means we are actually envying the other person's life, right? We judge, we already feel that. Equal to friends and enemies. Then udasina, without care, right? Not bothered, always free from contamination. So this is how you deal with others. How you deal with yourself, you saw, right? No, not having ahankar, all this is quality with yourself. With others, it is you treat friends and enemies equally so that you are uncontaminated. Reaction with things happen to him. Past, how does he think? He's very satisfied, right? He is very tolerant. He is always equiposed, whether it's good or bad, right? Anapakshaha, he is neutral. He is not siding anything. He's neither very happy over what he got or not laments over what he loses. And he is transcendental to all kinds, good, bad, sin. He is very equal, no duality. He is equiposed, right? Dealing with the Lord, how does he deal? Very important. Determined, dhrida, right? We saw determined mind, mano buddhir, fixed entirely on Krishna, on the Supreme Person, and engaged in devotional service, unalloyed devotion. Unalloyed, alloy is a mixture, unalloyed means without any mixture. 12.20, he who follows his imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. And there is something called Anucharan and Anukaran. Anucharan is what you follow, and you're not supposed to follow, but you just take them and just try and not imitate, but take the good aspects. So this is the story all of you all know of Bilva Mangala Thakur, who blinds himself because he is very attracted to women. And obviously Krishna leads him, because obviously in between, if someone becomes blind, it's very difficult for them to manage. Therefore, Krishna is personally present. And at the last stage, when he could manage himself and Krishna leaves his hand, he says, you can leave my hand and go, but you can never leave my heart. Right? So that is the faith which the devotee has. And so is the reciprocation of Krishna. Hare Krishna. So with this, we are not just ending our 12th chapter, but we are also coming to an end of our second module, Bhakti. But remember, Bhakti is the core of entire Bhagavad Gita. We will continue Bhakti through Jnana. Why Jnana? Because Bhakti, to achieve, we need Jnana to get out of the material. So we're going to see that starting next week. Hare Krishna. So I will do the prayers and then you can ask the doubt. Vacha kalpa darubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. All of you, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please. Hare Krishna. Any doubt, please you can ask. And
Yes, Mataji.
yes, Prabhu.
As this we come to an end of this Bhakti main Bhakti as the
yes, Prabhu.
And the what so far I understood, just I want to tell you whether I am correct or not, that you have to just guide me. Okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead. I'm listening.
So the ultimate goal of our life is to reach the Godhead. That is the first thing. The main goal of this birth is to reach the ultimate goal is to reach the Godhead. Mataji? So in this, the Krishna teaches us there are two processes. One is the direct and another is the indirect. The direct path is the personal form, with the devotional services. Am I correct, Mataji?
Yeah.
And the devotional services, there are 9 devotional services he has prescribed.
Yes, Prabhu, listening. Go ahead.
In that 9, anyone we can take it and we can proceed, or we have to follow the
No, you can either perfect 1, 2, anything. Even 1 is fine.
Okay. So then the another indirect path what he is prescribed is the impersonal. Impersonal is the indirect path. Am I correct, Madam Mataji?
Correct. Indirect path. Correct.
That path, and following this. Following this Ashtanga yoga, visiting the praying this demigods, visiting the holy places, all this comes under this category.
No, Prabhu. Indirect part come under that. Going to the holy places, everything is bhakti only, Prabhu. Indirect is like going into a forest, sitting and Ashtanga yogi, only meditating in the heart. That is only the indirect path. Going to temple, going to holy places, all that is direct bhakti. You are praying what? You are praying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So it is not the other form. It is very much the devotional form. It is coming under bhakti only.
Okay. And praying this demigods?
Praying demigods is over in the 4th chapter itself. Praying demigods, you will go to Devaloka. You will not even go close to Krishna.
Okay.
You can pray to demigod not for materialistic thing. You can pray to demigod telling that, can you please give me help to take my help. For example, even Nectar of Devotion says that, you can pray Ganesha requesting him to offer bhakti, because Krishna, where does, Ganesha get powers? He gets powers from praying to Govinda. So that is Narsimhadev. What does he pray? He prays, oh God, please, it goes like this in Brahma Samhita. Yad pada pallavi yukama vinidaya kumbha dvande pranama samayesa ganadir rajaha vidvam bigattum alamasya jagatrayasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Hare Krishna. Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So very clearly what it says is, it's so special. So he is so sweet that he very clearly prays, telling that give me power to remove obstacles. So even Shivaratri, many of us prayed. We went to Shiva temple, not to tell that, okay, get us more jewelry, give us a lovely husband. No, it is to tell that, can you please offer the benediction that we will be liberated. We will be going to the next level. We will therefore go towards Krishna. Our prema to Krishna should increase. Such the exalted prayers of the exalted devotees.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, in your presentation, many times you used this Brahmajyoti. I am not able to understand what that Brahmajyoti means and what.
Okay, 2nd chapter, Prabhu, it's 3 levels of realization of God, right? We know Brahma, Paramatma, and Supreme Personality of Godhead. That we understand. Brahmajyoti is nothing but the Brahman feature. What is that feature? It is the Jyoti means light, right? It is the Brahman effulgence. Both means same. It means the light which comes from the body of Krishna. So Krishna abode is here, and it emanates. Thank you. To many places around, right? So beyond his place, there is light. For example, Prabhu, if you switch on the tube light in the night at 12 o'clock, does the tube light only give light inside your house? If you have glass window, the light spreads to a particular radius around your house, right?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
That is called effulgence of the light.
Yes.
That likewise, if an ordinary bulb inside your house can spread maybe a radius of 2 kilometers or 1 kilometer or 500 meters around you, Krishna's light also spreads, and that is so bright, which we saw in Vishnu Rupa. It's like thousands and thousands of suns and moons illuminated.
Yes.
See, the power is so much that it crosses all Vaikunta planet and it reflects beyond the Vaikunta planet.
Yes.
Therefore, people who do meditation will enter the Brahmajyoti. Like entering the is different from entering the house. For example, Delhi. Okay, now you and me are going to Delhi, and you are going for an invitation in, let's say, Modi's house. So you're different from me, right? We both are traveling in the same flight. You're entering Delhi, I'm also entering Delhi. But can I tell, hey, I've gone, to Delhi, therefore, I'm in the kingdom of Modi? No, I will just be in some part of Delhi and be back. But you are really entering. So you're definitely more powerful than me, right? So the devotees enter Goloka Vrindavan, which is his palace, right? It's like the house of Modi. Whereas people like me, who may be a jnani, or, we go and enter the Brahmajyoti, right? So that is like entering the city. So city is different, and it's that too, not even city, it's in the border, which is a Brahmajyoti. So they'll be hanging around in Brahmajyoti. That's the difference.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Got it. Thank you
so
so
much. Hare Krishna. Please mark the attendance. So let's go to Shishtashtakam. If you have doubts, we'll have this. Yesterday we chanted the fourth one, right? Nadanam Gajanam Nassundarim, correct?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Thank you so
Mataji.
much. So we will do the fifth mantra, Hare Krishna. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Bhavishame Bhavad Buddho Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrisham Vichintaya. Hare Krishna. Yeah, you can read this loud and clear. One of you all read.
O son of Maharaja Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So he's very clearly saying, I'm your eternal servitor, right? Yet somehow or the other I've fallen into the ocean, right? This should be our prayers. We should not analyze where did I come, when did I come, how did I come, which period, what did I do, why did I come? It's not going to help, right? So anyway, somehow I've fallen. Please pick me up from this ocean and, place me as an atom, as a dust in your lotus feet. That is a request, because the dust over there will be more happier than a completely full-fledged bungalow or a palace which we have here in the material world, right? So that is a prayer offered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Krishna. So you can imagine, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing all this, and what is his purpose? Not only to give us Nam, it's also coming here because he is leading by an example. We saw, right, today, Yadyat Acharati Sheshas Tatat Evetanujuna Sayat Pramanam Kurute Lokastad Anuvartate, which means any great person leads by an example, they'll be a follower. Krishna Bhagavad Gita is instruction, right? We see Bhagavad Gita, what did Krishna say? You do this, you do that, don't do this. If you do this, what happened? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anushmaran yudhyacha mayarpita manobuddhir mame vaishyasya samshayah. You please do all this, and therefore, you will come to me, right? So that is how you should be, is what he is telling. But he is giving you direction. It's theory class. Okay, and Chaitanya is doing practical class. 5,000 years back, what instruction Krishna gave, from that point, Chaitanya is continuing as a living example of a devotee. He's telling, and he lived a grasta life, married life, how he managed, and then he took sannyasi and he showed perfection there. So both the lives, right? You will tell, today we were seeing road Ekam Vada, right? As a family man, how he should live. Okay, there's only one example, Janaka Maharaj, Arjuna, family life there. Then as sannyasi, okay, we have somebody else. Let's take classic example of Madhavacharya, Madhavendra Puri, and all of them who lived a sannyasi life. So do we have one person who has done both, right? We have seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has lived the life, exact half of his life. 48 years he was here, and 24 years he lived as a grahastha, and balance 24 years he stayed as a sannyasi. Just 1 second, I can show you the calendar. Yeah. This is what I told, boat, right? He gets the boat to help us to cross over the material world, and let it be at least a dust, right? That is far better. That is what he is praying for. So this is the flowchart of events, right? So his Adi Leela is the beginning. He was born on 18th February 1486, 500 years ago. And the first 24 years of his total lifetime marks the beginning. And Adi Leela, this is the summary of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which has 3 books. Adi Leela talks about the first 24 years, right? And it talks about the appearance of him. And he was called as Vishwambar, and he was born in Navadip, right? Navadip is in Mayapur. And then during Adi Leela, when he was like 10 years, his brother, took sannyasi, and therefore he stayed. His father died around that time, and because of his pain of separation from the brother, and therefore he married Lakshmi Devi, and then that was when he was 14. And at 14 also, he was not just there, and he went to Bengal and started preaching a lot of Sanskrit. He used to go for Poti, Sanskrit debates and all that, and he used to make a lot of money, right? And at the age of 16, he actually met Ishwara Puri, and he got, and at that time, Ishwara Puri was his first guru who initiated him, right? Like a Shiksha guru. He gave this Mahamantra to him in his ears. So Ishwara Puri is actually from the same parampara. He is a devotee of Madhavendra Puri, and Madhavendra Puri, and all of you know the story of Madhavendra Puri is very exalted, and in the same line is where Prabhupada is. So that is the thing. And then later during Madhya Leela, the moment he met Ishwara Puri, he started becoming and preaching like a pure Vaishnava. He started talking about Krishna. So from a Jnana philosophy, which was only philosophy, he started bringing, completely Krishna in the center. And everyone started telling, every time he went to Gaya, the place where he met was Gaya, he's completely changed. He's talking so much about, philosophy and all that, which is not his usual self, is what was. So that is a speciality. And any pastime, I'm just thinking which pastime you won't know. So whatever I told you is this picture. 1 second, I think you. Right. So this is where he tells the holy name. How he goes and tells the name, and in fact he tells that name back. Right. So this is a speciality. Also, we saw this pastime, right? He gets robbed and all. And this one I didn't tell you all, if I remember right. The dog. So this is a very, did I tell you the story of him and the dog yesterday?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji.
Okay, so let's. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we'll see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's, how he connected to a dog. Right, so name of this puppy is Mukunda, and the Mukunda is the dog of Sivananda. Sivananda is one exalted devotee. When we talk about Sivananda, will come. So a lot of devotees had come to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has this habit, all his devotees, right, all the male devotees, because women, when he was a sannyasi, he used to really teach that women used to pay obeisances from very far, right? That's how sannyasi should be. So all the male sannyasis used to hug this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees he used to hug and he used to wish them. And that time what happened is there was this little puppy called Mukunda, and Mukunda also came along with Shivananda Prabhu, right? And the Mukunda is a dog, and so this dog became very friendly, and it started playing with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was very friendly with the dog, and he was petting the dog. Right, so when he was petting the dog, it is so well shown that this particular dog is also liberated, and it is currently in Goloka Vrindavan. So don't forget, when you all go to Goloka Vrindavan, meet this little puppy, and his name is Mukunda. Is that clear? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Hare. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So this is the speciality. Anyone who comes in contact with the God is so important, and this is the power. So today we are talking about Krishna. Is he present? Yes, he is in the form of Sankirtan. So when we are chanting, get a point. Why do we chant loud? Many who say that I have pets in the house. Not only pets in the house, there are birds around, there are insects inside your house. All of them, they listen to the Shravanam. You were asked, Prabhu was asking, right? The 9 process of devotional service. Shravanam is so important, right? They hear and they all get liberated. So that is a speciality. Hare Krishna. With that, we will end Chaitanya Charitamrita story for today. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Any other doubts? Otherwise, we can play. Neetu, you're having Prabhupada's video, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Prabhupada is also very exalted. If you see, he lived both the life. He was a grahastha, he had children, he was a businessman, and he did all that. And then he took the sannyasi order. In fact, it would have been Vanaprastha order, and he wanted his wife also to join, but she was not comfortable. She chose not to join him. And so he took the sannyasi order of life. And he, after that, you all know, ISKCON came, and ISKCON is the world's largest, right? So we have never seen an organization. How did he start? He started with 40 rupees, Indian rupees in his pocket when he went to London. Okay, with 40 rupees, we'll be scared to step out of our house. But look at him in a cargo ship. It is not the luxury ship or anything, it's just a cargo ship. So, and just because spiritual master told him, go and spread. So he started this journey. Hare Krishna. On to you, Neetu. Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. For sense enjoyment, I have got this now body, Indian body, I have got this Australian or American or European body. But you have to change this body. Tatha dehantara prapti. We are eternal. Najayate namriyate va kadachi. The soul does not take birth, neither it dies. We simply change body. Tatha dehantara prapti. Just like we are changing our body. In mother's womb, we had a small body. It grows, and we come out. Again it grows. Grows, it is not actually growing, it is changing. Antara prapti. So we have to change. That is nature's law. The soul is immortal. Najayate namriyate va kadachit. Na hannate hannamane sarire. The soul is not finished. Simply a particular type of body being finished. No. The people do not know it. And because that we cannot understand. But India is still, although it is so fallen, you go to a remote village, a common man, he has no education, he believes. He believes. And here, in the Western countries, I saw many big professors. They have no idea. I met one big professor, Kotovsky, in Moscow. He said, Swamiji, after finishing this body, everything is finished. You see, he's a big professor and in charge of a very big department, Indology. He has no idea. But this is not the fact. The fact is that we are all sparks, spiritual spark, part and parcel of God. Somehow or other, we have come into this material world for sense enjoyment. In the spiritual world, there is no sense enjoyment. there is sense purification. In the material world, the senses are impure. They simply want to enjoy material things. Krishna consciousness means that you have to purify your senses. That is the way. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam tat paratena nirmalam rishikena rishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. This bhakti means that we have to clear ourselves from the designations. What is that designation? Everyone is thinking, I am American, I am Indian, I am European, I am Australian, I am cat, I am dog, I am this, I am that, bodily. We have to cleanse this bodily conception of life, that I am not this body. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul. This you have to realize. Then there will be no distinction that here is an American, here is an Australian, here is a Hindu, here is a Muslim, here is a tree. Here. No. Pandita Samadarshina. Pandita means learned, one who knows things as they are. For them, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suniche cha Sapake cha Pandita Samadarshina. A person very learned, Vidya, and very gentle. Vidya means, educated means he is gentle, sober. He is not rogues and ruffian. That is Vidya. That is the taste of education. He must be very educated, sober and silent. That is called gentleman in one word. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So thank you so much. Thanks to everyone. I hope everyone marked attendance and you all can see the beautiful face of Krishna. So I will not. Thank you so much, Neetu, and thank you so much, Mohandas Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Loud. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll end the meeting. Hare Krishna.